Fighting, it's in our DNA. It compels us to watch. From prize fighting or on-screen action, fighting as entertainment has been a part of our culture for over a century. And in 1999, The Matrix excelled in this category with wide shots, graceful martial arts sequences, wire work, and special effects, plus a plausible premise for outrageous abilities. Since then, The Matrix has been everywhere in pop culture. And with the evolution of combat sports athletes, their training and their skills, the gap between reality and the Matrix rule-bending physics is closing. Today, we're going to take a look at real combat sports athletes performing Matrix-style moves in real fights. Buckle up and keep your chin tucked. I am Vesuvius, and this is The Matrix Online Revisited. You've heard of art imitating life. I think these are some examples of sport imitating art. Stylistic and technical wizard Master Yen Wu Ping has influenced the best of them. First off, we have Morpheus' cartwheel kick, or handstand kick. Puts one hand to the ground to support his weight and delivers kicks to Smith's body. And Neo actually does something very similar in his fight against Smith in the subway. But what if I told you that Alan Joban performed this very move at UFC Fight Night 71? Hand goes to the canvas and the kick lands on the side of the neck. One more time in slow motion. Boom! Let me introduce you to Anthony Showtime Pettis, who performed the same move in his fight against Cowboy Cerrone, grazing his head. He sets this one up with a spin attack, drops levels, and the kicks come from below. Incredible. Who can forget this incredible shot? Cinematic history, as Neo hyper dodges around the agent's bullets. He's in full back arch until he eventually gets clipped. Once again in the UFC, we have Rafael Fayezev going into full back arch to avoid his opponent's kick. Here he back arches and counters with a leg kick. Here he demonstrates his signature defense in his kickboxing career as well. We all remember that moment. It all finally clicks for Neo. He becomes the one in this beautifully shot action sequence, while Neo is simultaneously fast as he sees Smith's speed attacks in slow motion. And it's common to hear that speedy athletes will see their opponents moving in slow motion. For example, we have pound for pound great Pernell Whitaker versus Oscar De La Hoya, and Whitaker is seemingly untouchable. Also, we have defensive boxing genius Floyd Money Mayweather, hyper-dodging all of Canelo Alvarez's attacks. In his fight against Agent Johnson in The Matrix Reloaded, Morpheus is able to survive by landing an up kick. Benson Henderson scored the same up kick against Frankie Edgar in their first outing. Edgar approaches to attack, and Benson lands a perfect up kick to Edgar's eye. The Matrix Online game had some wonderful combat animations. Seen here is a sky-high sidekick, as performed by Ricky Bandejas in his bout against James Gallagher at Bellator 204. Bandejas lands heavy strikes and follows up with a well-placed sidekick, just like the game. In their first sparring match, Neo's adapting to the Matrix. He runs up the wall, backflips, and tries to get the jump on Morpheus, but Morpheus anticipates and follows up with a sidekick. In Code Fury, our heroes the Furious Angels perform this very move, followed up with a sidekick. In the game it was called the Phoenix Kick. And I know what you're thinking, there's no way somebody actually did this and pulled it off. And I'm here to tell you, they came pretty damn close. This is the ever-exciting Michael Pereira in his fight against Kim Dae-sung in an organization called Road FC, and Pereira was determined to land something flashy. With a little help from the fence, he does follow up with a sidekick. Doesn't quite stick the landing, but man, what an attempt. The backflip kick, also known as Guile's flash kick from Street Fighter 2. And who would be crazy enough to try this in a mixed martial arts fight? Eric Porter, that's who. Here he's fighting Deshaun Parker, and you can see he goes for an attempt, but Parker's front kick stops him. With another attempt, he actually pulls off the landing. Imagine if that kick connected. And Porter did go on to win by TKO by ground and pound. The machine gun punch from the Matrix Online. Here we have an 8-punch combination in just under 2 seconds. Now this move always went into bullet time at the end, so it's probably closer to 1.5 seconds. Down goes the opponent. And here we have Chuck the Iceman Liddell performing the same combination in his first fight against Tito Ortiz. Tito's back goes up against the cage, and Chuck unloads 11 power shots in under 4 seconds. It all starts here with this short left hook. Tito grabs his eye, and Chuck smells blood. He moves in for the kill. Couple of shots, Tito backs up to the fence, and Chuck unloads. Devastating shots, blinding speed, and a hell of a knockout. Next technique we see is called the suicidal butterfly or rolling thunder. Here we have Australian fighter Jonathan Tuhu. He's the shorter fighter walking down his opponent. Sets it up, and the shin lands flush. And oh my goodness. Let's see it again in slow motion. He sets it up with a front kick to close the distance, goes horizontal, spins, and lands it. Knockouts do not get any more devastating than this. Next we have a fighter, Yair Rodriguez. He attempts this technique on Dan Hooker. Now remember the name Yair Rodriguez because I'm going to talk about him a little later in the video. Next we have the suplex, or in wrestling called the back suplex. Here we have bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz hitting this move on pound for pound great Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. But the best example has got to be Dan Severn in 1994's UFC 4, back when there were no weight classes. Now watch the opponent shake off the second one. And we'll see the second one again in slow motion. Devastating technique for no holds barred fighting. Okay, before the crown jewel, I want to do a couple of honorable mentions. Here we have a clip of Neo and his infamous triple kick at the lobby shootout scene. And I mentioned Yair Rodriguez a few moments ago, because I think that his fighting style most closely resembles Neo's fighting style in the first and second movie. He has a very flashy and kick-heavy style, and he frequently changes levels. He's always jumping to that high-level kick. And here's the closest thing that I could find to Neo's triple kick. 3 kicks in a row. So he kicks the leg and then the head, and as he's falling, look what he does with his right leg as he's falling. Is he trying to kick him with his right leg again?
Good. Adaptation, improvisation. It's your weakness, not your technique.
And check out this crazy combination. A behind the back sweep to a spinning elbow. And he avoids the hook. Okay, here's a devastating knockout. Joaquin Buckley's kick gets caught, and without hesitation, he spins and delivers a horrific back kick right between the eyes. Knockout of the year 2020. There's nothing better than a nice armbar finish with a cool setup, and Demetrius Johnson takes this to another level. From a rear standing position, he picks his opponent up to return him to the mat, but does so in position to slip in an armbar. Absolutely incredible. Wall running is synonymous with the Matrix. Gravity-defying and high-flying. It morphed into an off-the-wall kick in the Enter the Matrix video game, as well as the Matrix Online MMO. And this one takes the top spot, performed by Anthony Showtime Pettis in his fight against Benson Henderson in 2010, because of how effective the technique was and how easy he made it look. Dubbed the Showtime kick, Pettis' star grew, gracing the cover of the Wheaties box, and even attacking at closer range with the Showtime knee. I'd like to thank you all for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. For more MMA highlights, check out the playlist on the end card. For daily Matrix content, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at VesuviusMxO. And check out the Teespring and the Etsy shop to support the channel and pick up some original Matrix merchandise. Okay, Red Pills, I am Vesuvius, shutting down.